So recently I went back to Battlefield 3. Now this isn't for any other reason than I just really missed Battlefield 3. I do really like Battlefield 4 still. It is very buggy, but when you can get a bit of stability from the game, you can feel that great amount of potential that the game does hold. But I just missed playing Battlefield 3. So I went back to it, started out playing probably my favourite game mode of the Battlefield series, which is Scavenger. It's probably a strange choice, but I really liked the concept of starting with a pistol, having to scavenge your weapons, and it really presented a new challenge because you had to perhaps use weapons that you weren't used to. It got you attachment, and it got you used to weapons that you weren't usually used to using. After this, myself, Matt and Westy jumped into some Operation Metro Conquest, a real classic Battlefield 3 game. Now, if you're wondering why the game volume is very low, it's in order to cut out the Skype chat that's in between. I don't want it to interfere with the video. But we went back on, and it really reminded me of the big difference between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 for me at the moment. It's simply that I love Battlefield 3. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, first-person shooter I've ever played. And when I went back, my first thoughts were just reminding myself of how amazing that game is, and it still had the capacity to blow me away just through that. I don't really want to say nostalgia. It is a form of nostalgia, but has Battlefield 4 been out long enough for me to call it that? Probably not. But I went back and was just reminded of just how much fun I had. Now, that was mainly on Xbox because I moved to PC very close to the end of Battlefield 3's life cycle. I was a very accomplished Xbox player. On PC, I fucking sucked. I was absolutely awful on PC, but after playing Battlefield 4, that is the game that's really settled me in. Moving back to Battlefield 3, I've become a much more competent and established player, so I was having a hell of a lot of fun, and it was reminding me of just why I loved Battlefield 3. Now the difference is, at the moment, I can't say that I love Battlefield 4. I like it, I think it's great, I feel a lot of potential, but I just don't love it at the moment. It doesn't have that same factor that Battlefield 3 has. I can't put my finger on what it is. It could be the bugs, it could be the fact that the maps aren't as good at the moment, but this game on Operation Metro really typified that classic Battlefield 3 feel. And the other games we played really brought back the question I was asking about the Second Assault DLC. You know, why aren't we seeing things like Sen Crossing, Grand Bazaar? Those are two absolutely classic Conquest maps, and playing those really brought me back to the feel of Battlefield 3, especially when I jumped on Conquest on Grand Bazaar. That is one of my favourite game modes on Battlefield 3. Conquest on Grand Bazaar is balanced and really well designed. As well as that, Noshar Canals, Team Deathmatch, those are the three game modes that I think typified Battlefield 3. So I'm surprised not to see those in the Second Assault, but I'm very interested to see what they do. But basically, I think it's the fact that at the moment, the game doesn't feel complete, whereas obviously Battlefield 3 is complete, it's finished. And eventually Battlefield 4 will run as well as Battlefield 3. We're going to get new game modes. I do hope to see Scavenger make a return. I was under the impression that all game modes in Battlefield 3 will be in Battlefield 4, but at the moment, we really can't get much information about the DLC because everything is on hold while everything is getting sorted out. But what I'm basically saying to you guys today is, I went back to Battlefield 3, and I instantly regretted neglecting it since the release of Battlefield 4. It reminded me of how much I love it, what was so great about the game, and really highlighted for me what was missing in terms of why I'm perhaps not able to stay on Battlefield 4 for as long as I am on Battlefield 3. I can't have those stupidly long sessions. Me and my friends could sit on Battlefield 3 all night. We can't do that with Battlefield 4 at the moment. We eventually get a bit annoyed and end up leaving the game. And there's little things like if someone's shooting you on Battlefield 3 and you're getting hit, you know it's because you're actually getting hit. The network is much more stable. Obviously Battlefield 4 will eventually be the same and will have that same experience. But you do have that time to react, turn around, maybe to get a few shots off yourself. Even if they still kill you, you've at least done something, whereas on Battlefield 4 you often find yourself a bit helpless. Now, things that I don't like, Battlefield 3 hardcore mode for me is not as good as Battlefield 4 hardcore mode. I love hardcore mode on Battlefield 4. It's one of my favourite ways to play it. On Battlefield 3 I stick to normal mode. But basically the message I'm trying to get across is, I went back to Battlefield 3, really enjoyed it, had a really good couple of sessions, and it reminded me of why I loved that game so much. And I will start to bring it through a bit more on the channel if you would like to see it. Obviously, a lot of the topics are now dead because there's now Battlefield 4 out, but I will try my best to incorporate it wherever possible. But let me know what you think. Have you gone back to Battlefield 3 recently? Leave me your opinions in the comment section below. Also hit like. But in the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all very soon.